Well. We have finally come to the day where I teach you guys Shang Tsung. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Jay Z Bottom Lip, and today we are going to talk about Shang Tsung. And I also will be telling you guys and showing you guys the perfect way to play Shang Tsung. I'm pretty sure a lot of other players that believe that they are the best with Shang Tsung will probably tell you one way. Another Shang Tsung player would tell you another way as well. But in this video, I will be showing you the complete guide. There's no other guide that you're going to need to help you better yourself playing Shang Tsung or even picking up Shang Tsung. I'm going to try my best to make this video very short, very brief, and I also will get straight to the point as well. I just want to let everyone know, if you're unfamiliar, Shang Tsung is a unique character. He comes from I believe like the old Mortal Kombat back in 1992. He wasn't a playable character. He was a very unique character. You had to put a cheat code in order to play this character and unlock him. But anyway, Shang Tsung has a unique ability to morph into other characters during the fight, allowing him to use their moves and fighting styles. This makes him a versatile but challenging character to master. So with that being said, we all understand that Shang Tsung, as competitive players, is a very hard character to master. So it's very hard to know where to place this character. So understanding all of that, you should understand that you really can't place Shang Tsung anywhere on the map. You will put him next to a question mark because it all depends on you as that player. Now, the reason why I say that is because Shang Tsung is a very challenging character and a knowledge check character as well. He will test your ability to understand offense. He will check your ability to understand defense. He will also check your ability to understand how to play as your opponent's character and how versatile that you can be with understanding and how to play as those characters and against your opponent as well. So he is the master of all masters. Now, we also can say that this character buttons aren't the best, which is because most characters in the game have insanely great buttons and he lacks that. So he has to resort to a certain play style that is challenging, undesirable by those who understand the game and don't want to play that way. All right. Now that we got that out the way, I want to go ahead and get straight into this video. Okay. So when you're playing as Shang Tsung, he has an old and young variation. We're going to get straight into that as well. But first, I want you guys to understand when you pick a cameo determines how you're going to play Shang. I don't care what no one says. When you pick a cameo, that's exactly how you're going to have to play. And we're going to talk about a few, right? So I'm going to just go straight down the line. When you're playing as Janet, there's a few different ways. Janet's going to allow you to be able to zone comfortable and not have to worry about your opponent counter zoning you with EX counter zones like Liu Kang or Tanya, because she'll eat the projectile. This will result in your opponent having to be a little more conscious or even just ducking in the neutral. And then on top of that, you'll be able to do a lot more aerial moves and you'll be able to combo off your back throw in the corner or with your back towards the corner as well. Darius is going to allow you to go for setups, harder unblockables, and he's going to allow you to combo into Darius into hard unblockables. Serena is going to allow you to do more damage and allow you to morph into your old or young, depending on which one that you use. And this is only going to work if your opponent does not jump. If your opponent is airborne, it's going to be very hard in order to combo into Serena. Serena is also going to be allowing you to take your meter away from your opponent or take away hard unblockables like Kung Lao had. You can wake up with her, she'll take the hit, and you'll be able to combo. Cyrex is going to allow you to do certain setups where you'll be able to morph into your opponent more comfortable with back one. He's also going to allow you to do a lot more chip into special move or your wake up option as well. He's also going to allow you to play neutral more comfortable, throwing out net in the neutral if your opponent decides to poke. So this gives you a little more wiggle room when it comes to zoning. Kano is going to allow you to continue your pressure if you do decide to play a little rush down with him, or if you want to do a certain strength into special move and then use Kano and then keep your turn back. That's very important to understand and learn as well. Sonya is going to allow you to pressure your opponent with back one into Sonya, or you just being able to combo into Sonya airborne as well. There's no really benefit to playing with Sonya, but if you decide to play with her, that's totally up to you. Sector is going to allow you to play neutral more comfortable as well, and be able to get in on your opponent or and morph into your opponent in the neutral more comfortable in those senses as well, and give you a restand if you decide to lessen your combo into a sector. You'll be able to get a restand and then go from there. Frost is going to allow you to do safe options that's more comfortable rather than doing unsafe ones into Cameo. You'll be able to do safe strings into Frost, or you're going to be able to do setups where you can get the Frost ball out and you can, grab your opponent or create mind games and layers that your opponent really doesn't want to deal with. Jax is going to allow you to go for hard unblockable setups, set play, and he's going to allow you to go for OTGs as well, depending on how you knock your opponent to the ground. They won't be able to get up. I'll probably show you guys a little bit in this video. I'm going to try to get through every cameo, not show too much, but just give you a little brief understanding of how each cameo works. But I also wanted to explain them all as well. Chameleon is going to allow you to play very versatile with her as well, because she has 3 different variants where you can go for hard unblockables or just 50-50s. You can go for armor moves and then fly away, and then you could do your EX move, Hell Sparks, and be safe, depending on how you want to play as well. Striker is going to allow you to be able to morph into pressure along with Goro as well. Those 2 cameos going to allow you to morph into your opponent. Even Kano can do it as well. They will allow you to morph into your opponent as you are continuing your pressure, which is really cool. Scorpion is going to allow you to do a lot more aerial moves with your Hell Sparks. He's going to also allow you to go for safe 50-50s, unlike other characters. His 50-50 will be safe. They do have gaps, so beware of that. Be mindful of that. Sub-Zero is going to be the most versatile with you, because he'll be able to negate projectiles, and he'll be allowing you to play more comfortable in a neutral when you're playing against someone who has better zoning tools than you. Kung Lao is going to allow you to go for set play. He's going to allow you to go for hard unblockables, 50-50s, and create certain layers or mind games where you can go for a low and be safe afterwards. But they also have gaps. Now, Shijinko is really unique, because Shijinko is going to be allowing you to do certain launch moves into your opponent. And he's also going to allow you to go for 50-50s, depending on which one that you use or what opponent that you go against. He'll be allowing you to do certain things in particular that you may enjoy playing with. Motaro is going to allow you to be very plus off your strings. Some of them have gaps, some of them don't. He's going to allow you to do that. He's also going to be able to reflect projectiles, which is very unique. And he's going to be able to take you out of certain situations that you don't want to be in by teleporting you. Goro is going to allow you to be gelling your opponent to be plus 30, plus 20, plus 25, plus 27. Whatever it is, he's going to allow you to be plus enough where you can continue your pressure and maybe go for some RPS if you like. Trimmer is going to allow you to go for very similar to Cameo, like Chameleon, where she's going to allow you to play very versatile. He's going to allow you to do the exact same thing with the 3 different variants that he has. Harder blockables, you'll be able to zone more comfortable, and you'll be able to go for 50-50s, or you'll just be able to continue your pressure, which is very helpful. Now, let's go straight into practice mode. Me in particular, I like using Kano. I also like using Sub-Zero. The reason why I like using Sub-Zero or Striker as well is because it allows me to basically show off my skill. Plus, he's a little challenging, so I have to be a little more careful when it comes to waking up options as well, right? So the only way that I feel comfortable using Sub-Zero on wake up, if I'm already in old form and I'm in young form and my opponent's pressuring me, and since my old form is and since my young form is the wake up option is a little longer, as you can tell from this one. It allows me to be able to get my Sub-Zero cameo out, so I can do things like this, and I can push my opponent depending if my back is to the corner. It's very situational when I wanted to wake up and when I wanted it to work. So even if my opponent does decide to block my wake up, I can do things like this, and I'll be plus off of that as well. So you have to know the timing and be very careful with that as well. And also the reason why I like using Sub-Zero is because if I do catch my opponent where like I can do something like this, I can transform into my opponent and I can do combos and damage and rather than doing my whole sequence where I could do things like this, or I could do things like this, and I can transform, and I can do the long combo using those, right? Um, so really quick, let's get right into how you should want to play Shang. Okay, Shang is a specialist character. Okay, so you have to understand and you need to know how to play every cameo and every character. If you lack in those two areas, you won't be able to reach the full potential of Shang. You can still play Shang and you can still be very good with this character, but if you want to understand where he could be possibly and like being able to play against all these other characters, you need to understand and know how to play against every character and use every character. It's very important. The next thing is you must be really good on defense and offense. And the reason being is because he does not have a lot of good pokes. He doesn't have a lot of good pressure as well. So you need to be able to understand how to utilize his spacing and neutral. His down 3 is really good and his sweep is really good. These are going to be your two good buttons to keeping your opponent at bay, which means that just keep him at a distance. See how your down 3 plays at a distance? Also, your sweep is really good. These are one of the tools that you can use to shimmy your opponent if you think they're going to grab you, and then you can dash up grab. You can also do this, check your opponent. You can dash up grab. So be very mindful on how to utilize Shang Tsung's movement, spacing, and neutral as well. It's very important. And throwing single fireball is sometimes helpful. When you start doing 3, it becomes very predictable. So you want to mix it up here and there, just to catch your opponent off guard. So you can throw 1, 1, 1, and then your opponent is going to start ducking. Once he starts ducking, you'll be using your EX moves. Your EX moves are really there for you to EX wake up or be able to use your hail sparks or your fireballs, because you get meterless damage really well, as you can tell, right? So this is your combo. And all of that is meterless, right? Even though I dropped it, even though I dropped it, it's all meterless and it's really good, right? So a lot of times you'll be using your meter just for EX moves, and you'll also be using it for fireball moves as well. So keep that in mind. Also, too, I've never seen anybody else do this, and somebody else will claim it because everyone wants to be like, oh, I do that too, but I've never seen anyone do this but me. You can do things like this if you want to continue the pressure. You can do things like this, where rather than ending in this move in particular right here and pushing them full screen, which is very situational. If you want to push your opponent full screen and they don't have meter and they don't have a way to get in, you can push them full screen and make them come all the way back to you. If your opponent has meter and you want to bait their meter for them to wake up, you can do things like this and you're safe. If your opponent decides to wake up right here, they'll basically die, right? So I want to show you guys really quick so you know what I'm talking about, and I'm not just making things up. This gives everybody a chance to understand. So like, you can do things like this. And you can go into that as well, right? So that's really important to understand and utilize as well, which is two different situationals. You can push your opponent full screen, or you can keep them right in front of you. If they decide to wake up, you can bait it. Okay, so keep that in mind. As I said, the next thing that I like to teach everybody and learn about this character is that you have to utilize old and young in everything that you do, and do not commit to full strings. Do not commit to full strings. I repeat, do not commit to full strings. Full strings will be things like doing this string right here in particular. Since it leaves you -7, it does not allow you to be able to steal your turn back, because moves are usually 7 frames and it's -7. So keep that in mind. You want to be able to do things like this, catch your opponent off guard, because a lot of times they'll be looking for the follow-up move. And since you're not committing to full stream, you'll be able to stagger more. And when you stagger more, you can start doing stuff like this. Every time that you do a sweep, you need to morph into a different variant of yourself, because it allows you to go for mix, right? So a lot of times when you're in young, you get an overhead. So if you're in young and you do this, this catches your opponent off guard. Then you can start mixing them with it, right? Where they think that the overhead's coming, sweep. And then they think the low's coming, grab. You can start doing overhead and then you can grab. You can start doing this and do this, right? Because you have this move, or you can go into a low, which is plus. So when you're young, you can do this into this, or you can do into old. Just understand how to utilize the full character, right? And then if you want to utilize your pressure with Scorpion, Sub-Zero, you could do things like that right here. Or you can do things like this as well, where you can push your opponent, or you can do things like this, and you can continue your pressure as well if they don't duck. Be careful and be mindful that you can duck the last hit of this move, depending on what character you play. Some characters can duck it, some characters can't. For example, Asher cannot duck it, so if you want to utilize it against her, I recommend doing it. You'll be able to use Goro in that situation, and that comes with learning the matchup, where you'll be like, Goro can continue my pressure, and I'm plus, and I jail. She has to respect me. So again, you'll be doing a lot of labbing and learning situations and scenarios where some characters can do things and some characters can't, and you'll be able to pick a certain cameo depending on what character that you're fighting against, and it would be best fit for Shang Tsung for that matchup in particular. So again, like I said, guys, you have to utilize everything about a character. You must use every string. You must morph every time that you do a string. Please do that. It's very important. If you don't, it's okay, because not every time will you be able to be, focus on trying to morph, because a lot of times we're making reads. But if you get really comfortable understanding this character, you'll be able to do certain staggers like this, and it will catch your opponent slightly off, and you can go for a mix, shimmies, and so on and so forth. Please utilize that. The next thing that I want everyone to understand is that, again, you have to learn every character, and you need to learn every cameo. And like, for an example, with Shijinko, you need to learn every launcher that's going to be able to allow you to combo into. Also, allowing you to understand how it's going to work against that character in particular. For an example, right? If I use Shijinko, right, really quick, just want to show you guys. If I use Shijinko in particular for this matchup, I know that I can do a teleport and be safe. For an example, if I was to do something like this, I'm safe. -3. My opponent cannot punish me there. And he can't wake up in particular, because if he decides to try to wake up there, he will basically get punished. Well, not punished, but he won't be able to punish me. And sometimes some of them jail, and they'll get you out of trouble sometimes as well. You can also do things where in this matchup, if you do get a little comfortable, you can start doing things like this in the neutral. And there's nothing your opponent can do about that. So learn how to utilize that. That's very important, because after you do this, you're able to do your right after it. So your hell sparks or your hell fires right after it, and it's safe. So please utilize that and understand how Shijinko works in particular. Then also learn the aerial combos as well. With Shijinko, understanding how what moves in particular that you're going to be able to get off with when utilizing your variant with whatever old or young of Shang Tsung, if you want. So like if I was to use young variant, I understand that I can use any string in particular, but you can do it with young too. Like I can do strings like this, and I can take something, right? And then I can start it off. Once you get one fireball, you should already have an automatic Shijinko. These are things that you need to understand and know when it comes to utilizing Shijinko. You also can even use Shijinko if you do get that one hit with your opponent. And you can continue your combo as well from that as well. So those are the main things that you're going to want to know when playing with Shang Tsung. Also, keep in mind, there's a few things that you never do with Shang Tsung, and it's putting yourself in a situation where you have to guess. So if you pay attention and you look at his move list, some of his complete strings are -7. So please stay away from those, right? Let's see, in particular, strings that you want to stay away from is this string in particular. You want to stay away from this full string, unless you're really just been using back 2-2 a lot, and it's been your opponent's been respecting it and they're taking their turn back accordingly. You can do the full back 2-2-3, and it may or may not catch your opponent off guard, but it's very good for that one reason and that one reason alone. Trying to look at other strings in particular that you just do not want to utilize and stay away from. Down 3 is really good if you learn how to space it. If you do it up close, it can be very punishable. Be careful with that. Trying to find another string. Okay, hold on. This string in particular, please stay away from doing as well, because there is a gap in this string as well. But also too, you want to keep your opponent guessing and not understand when you're going to commit to a full string, right? So when they see this knee come out, they automatically assume in that full string right there. But when you do that knee right there, or if you do this right here, it kind of catches your opponent off guard. And since you understand that the full string is more negative than the stagger, you will want to stagger more. Also, morphing throws your opponent off guard. When you do like staggers like this, it will catch your opponent off guard. Also, when you do things like that, it catches your opponent off guard. And the idea is that when you do certain strings in particular, especially staggers, your opponent would take their turn back with certain strings in particular, rather than doing strings that like back 2, 2, 3. They understand that they're able to get more normals or more staggers or more moves off rather than just being able to poke, if that makes sense. I hope so. Another thing that you never want to do with this character is never let your opponent in for free. You're going to be checking your opponent. If you pay attention to Punk in Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 5, or any character in particular, the whole game is about not allowing your opponent to get too close to you. And you do this by checking your opponent. Shang Tsung thrives really well at checking his opponent. If you don't allow your opponent to get close, you can check your opponent like this. So your neutral is going to look something like this, right? Where you're going to be doing this to catch your opponent off guard. Your opponent's going to want to whiff punish this, and you understanding that that's what they want to do, you'll be able to bait that, where you can dash in and dash out, maybe not do it, and look for it to do it, and then you can grab them, shimmy them, and so on and so forth. Creates another mind game and another layer for your opponent to deal with in the neutral. This is why spacing is really important. Another thing to do, never do with Shang Tsung is play rushdown. Please, for the love of God, do not play rushdown with this character. You will lose badly. And the reason being is because in order to play rushdown, you have to commit to full strings and use your cameo. And then once you don't have cameo no more, you lose. And then on top of that, a lot of times you want to use your cameo to keep your spacing well and be able to keep your turn going. But if you're playing him in a way where you're just doing the same thing over and over, you won't do as well. So I'm going to show you guys something really quick, right? Where if I was to play Kano, right? Now, there's certain people that can do it, some people that can't, right? Where if I wanted to play Kano, right, and I did something like this, I can continue my pressure from there, right? Which is cool, and it's beneficial, right? But if you pay attention, I did literally nothing but chip my opponent. That's not really how Shang Tsung is supposed to be played, because he thrives really well in the neutral. He's not a rush down character. So if you're going to just play like that, your opponent's going to understand that's what you want to do, and he's going to whiff punish you. He's going to play at a range where all he's going to do is wait for you to try to get close and then punish you from it. And that's the mind game that you do not want to play with, and you don't have the time to play with as well, because every time that you get close, he's going to neutral duck, or he's just going to check you. And you don't want to do that, right? And it makes your time playing Shang Tsung very boring, and you want to be able to utilize the whole character. You want to be able to morph and stuff like that. So for an example, you want to do things like this that allows you to transform into your opponent. It's very fun. So learn how to utilize it. Then you can grab your opponent and you can go for mix, whatever you want to do, right? You want to learn this stuff. It's really fun. It's really cool, and allows you to have fun with this character. You can also do things like this once you get really comfortable with this character. You can do things like this, and then you can continue your pressure that way as well. So please, again, utilize and learn how to use rushdown. But a lot of times you don't want to play this way because you no longer have cameo. But if you're very comfortable with the matchup and you're very comfortable with the player that you're fighting against, and understanding how to utilize this character in a way where you can beat your opponent, then do so. Okay. These are things that are very important when it comes to playing Shang Tsung. Also, too, I just want to show everybody, when you're playing with Darius allows you to play with set play. I think I'm gonna showcase a few things that you could do with some of these cameos. I'm not gonna go all of them, but just give you a few, right? So if you were to decide to play with Darius, you can do things like this. If you do open up your opponent, right, you can do things like this. You can mix your opponent as well. You don't even have to do that. You can even do things like this, and it will catch your opponent off guard as well. These are things that you're going to have to utilize when playing with Darius. Darius also allows you to get things like this off, and you can continue your pressure. Every time that you get a sweep, you can catch your opponent off guard with that as well. Even when you do a sweep, you can do things like this, where you can get a safe jump in and your opponent can't do anything about it, and you can continue your pressure that way as well. You can also do things like this. If your opponent decides to block after, right, you can do things like this. Oh, sorry. And you're safe after. You can do that, or you can do, and you can take your turn back as well. Remember, utilize this character as much as you can. You can also even fake your opponent by doing things like this. Hold on, I thought you could like, oh yeah, you can just do this, hold them, and you can take your turn back, because a lot of times they'll be anticipating and looking for Darius to come out, and you can grab them as well. So you can do things like that, stagger, grab them out there. So learn how to utilize Darius. Darius is very fun. Also, I want to showcase something else that you can do with Darius really quick. If I don't mess up, you do things like this with him. Oh, let's see if I get it. Oh. And you can mix from there as well if you want, okay? See. Serena, I'll show Serena because Serena is like the easy mode cameo, and some people might like Serena. Serena's gonna allow you to do things like this instead of your opponent's meter. She's really good for that reason, and then also to extending with her is really fun as well, or just using that one hit to get your opponent, like they do with Astra. You can continue your pressure this way as well. And then you also can do this, and then your opponent will lose this meter. You can grab them, so on and so forth as well. Cyrax is going to allow you to get back 1 combos, so you can do this into Cameo, and this is real. And then you can lead into yourself into setups where you can do this right here, and then you can grab your opponent, and then you can go for mix off of that. Especially in the corner is really nice. You'll learn how to do that as well. But if you do back 2 combos, you can do things like this, and continue the pressure. And then on top of that, you can chip out your opponent. You can do that as well, and then you can start the zone however you want to play. Another cameo. Let's see. I'll show you one that I used to like a lot with, and there's 2 different ways that you can play with this one. You can get a true setup in a corner where you can do things like this, right? I'll keep it very simple, right? You can do this. Hold on, I'll just do this for the time being, right? So let's say you did your full combo, you can do things like this. And you can do another one actually if I wasn't so bad at the game. And you can keep it going actually. So like you can do the full combo. I'll let you guys figure that one out. It's been a very long time since I messed around with this. But also too, what you can do is that like after you do this thing, you can do that as well. So you can do setups where you can do hold on. Right, let's just say I did the whole combo, right? And then you could go for mix off of that as well. So that's really dope as well. And then especially in the corner. And then you can go for mix off of that as well, like I said. So Jax is really helpful for that. And he also allows you to do, I think, let me see, right? So like if I was to do this, you might be able to combo off of this. It's hard. I can't. But also too, since we are on this subject, you also have a little cool combos that you can do. You can do like things like this in the corner. And you can continue your combos that way. You also can do this as well. Just however you want to play with this character, you can do that. You can also combo off this as well. and I'm pretty sure you guys will come up with more damage and combos. I'm just giving you guys the blueprint where you can utilize and use. Just keep in mind that you can do things like that rather than like doing this string, because sometimes you can misconfirm it, and it's more safe in the corner to do this right here, and then taking your turn accordingly how you want. See another cameo that you can use. Let's see, another cameo. I want to give you one more cameo. Let's do Striker. Right? So with Striker is going to allow you to do things like this. Like, remember I was telling you about like your opponent wanting to like reversal, right? And he wanted to wake up, or like he wanted to go through your gaps, like this string in particular, right? Hold on. Right? If he wants to armor through that, you can do things like this, right? I think also too, they can't armor there as well. So that's really dope as well. But if you wanted to do something like this, they can't do anything about that as well. And you can also just do things like, hold on, I think you can morph it freely into anything. I don't think this character has a really good wake up option. Yeah, he can't deal with anything. Yeah, you can do things like this though. You can do and then you can just continue your combos that way. And you can, like I said, you can continue your combos that way. So Striker is going to allow you to do that. Your opponent is going to think they can wake up or pressure you or something like that. You don't have to worry about that. You can even, oh yeah, you can even do this. They can't do anything about that. Even though there's a gap there, they can't do anything about that. So utilize Striker for that one reason, because the bombs come in and they hit twice. So it will stop your opponent, and you'll be able to get a combo off of it. I'm allowing you guys to figure it out that as well. But for a long time, I even have a video of me playing in a tournament with this variant. It's really helpful and it's really good. You just have to be really good and understand how to utilize it. But again, like I said, they nerf Striker, so a lot of people probably won't use him. But he's also really good for allowing you to play as your opponent in their face and continue your pressure. That's all I really have for you guys. As far as in like combos and combo routes, that's totally up to you guys to figure out and use. My whole goal is for you guys, when it comes to understanding and breaking down Shang, is giving you guys the blueprint to figure out how you want to play this character, but also getting you guys to understand that he's supposed to be played a certain way. But again, the cameos are going to allow you to play a way that you want to play, but the cameos are also there for you to understand how you can play with Shang. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions in particular about what I said or what I was what I may have missed in your opinion, you can also leave a comment below. Again, I'm not here to argue with you guys. I put in a lot of hours into this game, as you can tell right here. This is one of my accounts, and I have 1,184 hours in this game, and I have multiple accounts, and I put a lot of time and effort into this character. If you know me, I love Shang Tsung. When I found out about the skin that he has, I bought the skin right away. But again, I just want to let everybody know and emphasize that this is the character that I love, and I put a lot of time into this character from the game to the day the game got launched. I also pre-ordered the game just for Shang Tsung as well. So you can also tell from there, I also play Shang Tsung on release, and when he came out in MK11, and I mained him in MK11 for a very, very long time until he got nerfed. And on top of that, I still played the character, and I actually won a tournament in MK11 with Shang Tsung, and just letting everybody know. And I played a particular variation with the hail sparks coming out the air. That was one of my favorite variations, where I just rinse and repeat and use that move over and over. But again, like I said, I appreciate you guys watching. If you don't mind leaving a like and a comment below and giving me some feedback, I would love that from you guys as well. And if you have any questions about Shang Tsung, I'll be great, and I'll take the time to actually listen and talk to you guys about Shang Tsung, because he's my favorite character. And I also going to have a lot more Discord places where you'll be able to discuss all the characters in the game, and we can go over these characters in my Discord as well. And I'll leave a Discord link in my bio as well. Again, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. It's Jay-Z Bottom Lip. I'm out.